What is going on, everybody? Danny and Ben back here for episode 5 of the Two Sticks of Pure Rage podcast. Man, we have a lot of cool topics that we're going to be talking about. This was pretty much just like the last podcast that came out on Saturday. This is very impromptu. Ben hit me up and was like, dude, there's a lot of wrestling news going on and circulating on the web. We got to be talking about it. So, we're going to talk about it, man. Last night, I did do a live stream. I watched Monday Night Raw. It was pretty cool. I had about 10 people in there. You would think that's, not a lot, but it really is for me.
That's a milestone for somebody, that's like, all right, that's trying to establish a following, and that's like 10 people actively watching it with you and like are engaging in what you have to say and are excited to hear what you have to say about the product. And that's exciting, man. Congrats.
But yeah, a few people this was before like I actually looked online, to see like all the articles or whatever. Yeah. I didn't know what was confirmed. I didn't know what wasn't. But a lot of people in the stream last night were telling me that WWE is actively trying to get Stone Cold Steve Austin to have one more match at Mania against Kevin Owens. I was like, I don't really know how that's going to work. Stone Cold hasn't really been an active competitor since like 2004. As the last I knew that his, body is not able to. I mean, he can obviously do a stunner here and there and, raise hell like he usually does.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But as far as like having a full match, especially against somebody like Kevin Owens, I don't mind it if it is going to happen, but I just don't know how Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to be.
All right. So what I'm going to counteract with that in like an educational standpoint, and usually how things like this and returns like this coincide. I think that it was a said done deal a while ago. And he's had time to put in the work to return, like he's said in his previous podcast and a previous interview or something like that, that, he brought up the Undertaker, talking about, he has to go like 3 or 4 bouts, getting surgeries, getting ready for one match that's happening that following year. Stone Cold himself said that he would need around that time if he were to ever consider doing something like that. So what I'm thinking is they already signed it, done deal, along with Kevin Owens's fat contract that he signed. I think that was also in it. So I'm thinking that they planted those seeds a lot earlier. Not necessarily when, he signed his contract, but it definitely, the timing seems applicable to the situation and to what's, brewing currently. We all know that Kevin Owens is already starting to drop a little seeds here and there about, the Texas disdain and all that shit. And I'm really, really excited. And obviously, they're going to have to build a feud going into Mania. There's going to have to be angles. Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to be slated to return soon.
So do you think he shows up after the Elimination Chamber?
I believe he's going to show up after the Elimination Chamber. I think he's going to show up probably this. We're going to get into that following subject, but I think he's returning the same night as another eventual subject that we're going to be talking about on this podcast is also.
Yeah, we have a lot of returns coming, but
I think it's going to be the same night. Quote me. That's my prediction. Going on the record for my own personal opinion, I think that's what's gonna go down, because I think that will pop off viewership. That will get people watching immediately. You don't want to set the bar too fucking low. Like you want to come and swing, and especially like Cody. He Voldemort decided to close the door on Harry Potter and move to said Hogwarts. Making that, he who shall not be named shall be leader. But I think they're going to do it the same night. I think they're going to pop off in viewership. I think it's going to be great. I think that they're going to, because like they also trademarked something very interesting, which it was like a Sunday Stunner or something like that. WWE was trying to file a trademark for like Sunday Stunners or something like that.
I haven't heard
Stunner
that.
Sundays. They filed the trademark not too long ago. I saw the news on it on the same source that I check out on Instagram called the Wrestling Republic. They cover a lot of shit, even if it's useless. Like it's still something to know. They cover a lot of shit like that, including this subject that we're talking about currently, and also the other subjects.
I kind of knew something was up because 2 weeks ago, Kevin Owens, he's been having some sort of like a friendship, if you will, with Seth Rollins or whatever. And he was upset. He was upset that he was not able to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce were like, yeah, you're not going to be in the Elimination Chamber. And you quite possibly will not be competing at WrestleMania. And ever since then, he's been
one.
you know, saying that I'm kind of glad that, you know, I don't want to compete in Texas, Texas this, Texas that, you know, just talking a bunch of crap
Oh
about
shit.
Texas. And I mean, the Texas rattlesnake, you
You're
know,
going to
it
Dallas,
pretty
bro.
much makes sense, you know, stunner versus stunner. Nobody does a stunner better than Stone Cold Steve Austin, though.
Man, and that's great because Kevin Owens and KO is literally basically the modern day Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is so fucking cool because honestly, like you can see that in a lot of superstars, a lot of their inspirations. Like, for example, like you can see a lot, like maybe not as charismatic, but you can still see the same stature in Roman Reigns that you do
Yep.
with Rock. You can still see that dominant stature, like Kevin Owens. You can still see that fuckless fucking charismatic enigma coming from fucking Kevin Owens, like you could see in
Yeah.
Stone Cold. You know, the classic shit talker, the fuckless attitude, the just, you know, fucking swing now, ask questions later kind of guy, you know, fist first philosophy. And that's Kevin Owens, that's KO, you know, and that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I think if they were to do this, this could be possibly one of the greatest feuds and WrestleMania matches in history. I think that this could be fucking huge if executed well. And if the feud builds.
My only concern with it is, what if they do want to carry it on? But again, back to what I was saying at the beginning of the podcast, like how long? Stone Cold's almost 60 years old. He hasn't wrestled a match since 2004. Like, yeah, you
2003
can
WrestleMania.
you can get in the best shape of your life, but ask any professional wrestler, man. Like, going to the gym,
Ring rust and
yeah,
awareness is a
going to the
thing.
gym is not the same as being inside the
Mm-hmm.
squared circle.
And like I said, you know, this bargains back to, you know, they probably planted the seed very early on, and they probably gave him the edge treatment and sent his ass
Do
a
you think they'll
fucking
keep
ring.
him? Do you think
They
they'll keep
probably,
him a little bit after Mania to keep the feud up, or do you think it's just going to be a one-off?
I think this is going to severely put Kevin Owens and solidify him as a
I think he
complete
needs to
top
be
guy at
WWE
that point.
champion. He had a title. He had a title. He had the title back in 2017, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah, he
I
was
don't really
universal.
remember it. It wasn't very memorable. I have always
Mm-hmm.
said this, and I've said this on a couple podcasts with you. I could definitely see him being a good competitor against Bobby Lashley if they really pushed him to be a
Oh,
main guy.
100%. I think Kevin Owens is incredible. I think he's an absolutely, you know, absolute asset to the company, and I think he's one of the, you know, in my opinion, one of the biggest pulls on the fucking
Yep.
roster. He's got the mic skills, he's got the attitude to prove it, he's got the charisma, he's got the in ring ability. Like that dude's, you know, again a big dude that can do some pretty crazy shit. You know, like
Absolutely.
he's out here doing the swanton bomb, he's out here doing the fucking, you know, the stunner, he's out here doing just fucking regular, you know, sentons off. Like he's doing shit that big guys like him
Yeah.
should not be doing, but he's killing it, you know, like he's another big guy that's got a lot of, you know, agilic ability.
Yep.
You know, he's fucking insane. He's a great talent. And I think with this big contract, there's also a lot of big things planned for Kevin Owens. And I think this match, you know, if again executed correctly, is just the start of something
Yeah,
big for him.
I knew for months, probably until a little bit after last year's WrestleMania, that Stone Cold was going to have a very prominent role in this year's Mania. But everybody said that it wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be like an in-ring role. You know what I mean? But of course, if
No,
Stone Cold is
100.
coming back for one last match, I mean, I mean, in a way, you would want to announce it, but you would also want to keep the surprise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would want that natural feud to build, and you know, have him accept the challenge, you know, have him accept it or have him give the challenge to KO. Like you would have that unannounced, but have him do
Yeah.
it like the old days, you know. That's how you found out, is they would just say it. There would be no announcements, you know. Social media wasn't a huge thing back when they still did that, you know. There wasn't a lot of leaks or anything going on like that. But it's also interesting that we're also talking about, you know, fucking building new stars and putting people over. You know, even Brock Lesnar, he fucking said that, you know, someone in WWE needs to step up and get their
Yep.
asses in seats. 100%. I agree with that. Hence why this angle with Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin coincides with that subject. Brock Lesnar has been a part-time performer since 2012. I think this year, maybe since 2019 up to this point, is the most active in ring and most present he's been since 2003 when he was doing
You
his
want to know? You want
legitimate
to know an
run.
interesting fact? Brock
What's
Lesnar
up?
hasn't had a match on Monday Night Raw since 2002.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy to
Mm-hmm.
think, man. And like I said, this is going to be, you know, exciting. Like we're seeing again a complete different side of Brock Lesnar, and where it's fun, relieving, relaxing, and seeing him often, and seeing him as this very different Brock Lesnar. Even though even still, Brock Lesnar himself knows that, you know, even with this new angle, with him being more, you know, running and doing more of a fucking run, um, he knows that his pull is gonna eventually wear down. Like you're gonna need someone to pick up the fucking slack. The last time they executed that beautifully and they built a star was Drew McIntyre.
Or Bray Wyatt.
That dude went from before that, I mean, after that was Drew McIntyre. The most recent is Drew McIntyre. That dude was a mid-carder up until 2018, where he started being on television a lot more on the main roster when he was in the tag team title picture. But he really came into fruition and started his babyface run at the Royal Rumble of 2020, because he was still semi-heel right before it. But once he won the Rumble, he went in full babyface and killed it. The fans were behind him. Brock helped build him. Like, you remember that fucking episode on Monday Night Raw where he fucking came up and claymored his ass and then held up the fucking belt? They caught on camera saying Brock yelling at him, telling him to grab the fucking belt. Like, he was like, grab the belt. Like, he was helping him build a star. And Drew McIntyre is still, even though he's in like a mid-card program, you still see Drew McIntyre as a, you know,
that's one thing I don't like about.
See him as
that's
a
one
face
thing I
of the
don't like
company.
about Roman Reigns. Like, I like his gimmick. I like the, you know, head of the table, you know, thing they have going on there. But WWE has refused to build any new stars around that. So
along
Roman
with Charlotte
Reigns
Flair
doesn't have, you know, a viable opponent for somebody to possibly take the title off him. And did you hear recently Vince McMahon stated that he doesn't see anything wrong with WWE and he doesn't think that anything needs to change?
Yeah, I read that article too. Yeah, I mean, you gotta think about it, man. Homeboy's almost 80 years old. He's definitely had his like head injuries for sure over the course of, you know, his WWE career, his, you know, just being a part of the company in general. I mean, he's definitely taken some pretty fucking crazy bumps and done some pretty nuts things, you know, over the course of time. That could also be playing a huge factor in it, you know, like that's a very big possibility.
Yeah, it could be.
I'm not surprised to hear that from fucking Vince McMahon, dude. The dude is out of touch. We all know this. You know, is anything being done about it? No, because technically the keys are still part of his castle. Nobody can do anything until he is ready to either sell or just fucking leave. There's nothing changing, and there won't be any.
And
fucking
the thing
change.
is,
like, if we're being completely honest,
you know, he's the big guy, man. He's the boss he's the owner of the entire company. As long as money's coming in, he's not gonna ever see anything wrong with it. It's when the money stops, that's when he's finally gonna be like, all right, he's gonna have to reset and we're gonna have to try different things.
And the thing is, the reason why he's so obsessed with this and he doesn't see anything wrong is because of how much money he made last year. Lost more fans, made more money. And that's only because he all those releases.
That's because
that and all of those fucking
the Saudi
releases,
Arabia
he's saving
deal.
mad money on less talent.
But it's kind of funny that, you know, that WWE supposedly made a little over $1 billion last year, but yet everybody that they've released since 2020, all budget cuts,
because they want to make the money.
They cut the majority of their talent. There's nobody there anymore. There's Brock Lesnar, Lashley, Roman, Drew McIntyre. Who else you got?
Like, that's being overplayed. Which brings me on.
I will say the match she had with Naomi was really
I watched
good.
it. It was fantastic. And, you know, I loved everything about it. And I actually genuinely am intrigued with Naomi and Sonya Deville's rivalry. I'm genuinely intrigued about it. You know, like, I think they're both fucking star-class athletes. I genuinely love Sonya Deville's fight style.
Vince said you can't touch me. He never said I couldn't touch you.
Yeah, Vince McMahon did not say that. Vince McMahon did not say any of that shit. You know, Vince McMahon made a club called the Kiss My Ass Club, all right? There's no way in hell Vince McMahon said you couldn't touch him. I mean, couldn't touch her.
That, and I was wondering because I was streaming, watching that SmackDown. I was like, when the hell did Adam Pearce get access to Sonya Deville's email?
Some freaky shit going on behind the scenes, son.
Now,
now that we're speaking of, like, you know, people getting released and like the people that they don't have to work with, we do have 3 returns happening before WrestleMania. Not like fucking, overly huge ones, but ones that will add star power to the women's division. That is Lacey Evans, Bayley, and Asuka. In the capacity of, I'm curious as to when. I
thought one of them was gonna return at the
I thought one of
Elimination
them was going
Chamber,
to return
but
at
no, the
fucking the
last spot.
Rumble. Like, I thought one of them at least Asuka, because she's been cleared from what I remember for quite some time now. Because she's been gone off
I
TV
don't
for a
know.
few months now, it feels like.
Yep. We have Elias out, like Elias, Asuka, like all these guys, man. I thought they were all gonna return at the Rumble. I mean, that's the perfect time to fucking return, but
That's supposed to be the
no,
most exciting night of the year, other than Mania, and
dude,
it was a fail.
Elias's new look. He just looks so fucking generic, man. He doesn't have any, his appearance. Just I liked him when he was like the hitcher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had the guitar and he was like,
See, I think that was a great gimmick. I think Elias's gimmick just worked out for him, and I love the fact that he was like a rock star and shit. I love the fact that he would come out singing, in WWE stands with Walk with Elias. Like, I loved it, dude. Like, Elias didn't have to do much, and he was over with the crowd, whether they booed him, cheered him. I fucking love Elias. I think he's a great in-ring performer too. For when you do see him wrestle, I think that again, WWE screwing the pooch there, because I think he is, if you want to prove something, have him win the fucking United States or the Intercontinental title. Like, that dude deserves a
I would
title
have
shot.
thought. I would have thought he would have got a little bit of a push when Edge came back, and the first time, it was Edge's first spear back since 2011, spearing Elias at SummerSlam. I thought that that would have gave WWE an incentive to want to push Elias,
No,
but
see,
that
that
was like
wasn't.
a couple months later. He ended up leaving, and he hasn't been back
Yeah,
since.
and it's funny that you bring that up too, because he didn't leave a couple months later. He just left this past year, because when he speared Elias, it was 2019, bro. It was
Oh,
before the Rumble. Yeah, dude,
I
it's been
keep
a
thinking it
fucking
was
mess.
2020. I
Almost
forgot how
3 years,
long Edge
man.
has been
He's been
back.
back for a while, bro. He's been back. Yeah, he's been
Doesn't
back in
seem that
WWE
long, does
television
he?
technically since that moment of SummerSlam. So come SummerSlam this year, that'll be his technical return. But next Royal Rumble,
Yeah,
he'll
it
be
doesn't
his
seem that
third
long.
his third year back, which is lit, dude. I never thought in a million years that we'd get that. Like, it's such a good time to be a wrestling fan, because we're getting all these returns, whether they're being utilized correctly or not. We're getting, I think we're finally starting to pick up
Yeah.
something with CM Punk, with him and John Moxley teaming up. If that's becoming a legitimate tag team, dude, that's a fantastic pull for AEW's viewership.
Dude, AEW is so
Yeah,
good,
I've
man.
been watching a few matches, and like I've been watching a few segments here and there, and I genuinely like what I see, man. Like, it gives you that old school, at least good ruthless aggression era shit. At least good. Like,
Yeah.
I can't say attitude era, because there will be nothing like the attitude era again. At least for now.
I will say AEW is
Oh,
the
100%.
closest.
Dude,
AEW
you're
is the
allowed to say fuck
closest.
on TV practically, even if they beep it out. Like, you're still allowed to get creative.
Dude, tomorrow, man, Jake Hager, Jericho, Santana
I saw that. I
Ortiz.
saw that fucking little conniption that fucking this dude was going off on Jericho, and he's like, "Now you can speak." I was like, "Damn!" He just bitched one of the fucking greatest dudes to ever do it on the mic. Like, that is fucking great. Like, that promo was excellent. That promo was
Dude.
absolutely excellent, and even Jericho looked impressed. He was like, "Okay, go with that fire," because it's unscripted. Like, they can say basically whatever comes to
Yep.
mind, as long as it fits the situation and it's semi clean. Like, and I love that,
Yep.
and I loved that promo. That is probably one of the greatest promos ever. The greatest promo I have ever seen on AEW, for me personally, has to be fucking Neville's. That fucking blind shit was fucking awesome, dude. Like, that.
Dude, he's
He's a
incredible.
great performer. That dude is athletic as fuck.
His name is
It's
Pac.
Pac now, or Pac or something like that. Like, it's Pac.
Pac.
Oh, dude,
PAC. Pac.
fucking incredible. I for whatever reason, I still refer to him as Neville, because it's been a while. Like, he is a
Yeah.
fucking insane performer. So, like, obviously I was already like, I can get on board with this, but his promo delivery, that was movie worthy, bro. And especially, like, fuck, that was great delivery, great execution. Like, that promo work is great on AEW, bro.
He wasn't able to be a serious competitor in WWE though. He had like a weird ass gimmick that was related to fucking kids and family oriented television. He can actually be he could be a main event guy in AEW if he really wanted
Isn't he
to.
like known as like the bastard or something like that?
Yeah, the
Hell
Bastard Pack.
fucking yeah, dude. He's incredible, man. Like that dude can fucking like perform, bro. And it was funny because I was watching Hot Ones, ironically enough, and I was watching Jericho's episode last night, and he was actually talking about, and this is another great thing, fucking we were talking about like they were talking about like kayfabe and shit, and how he went off on a fucking ref because Neville like broke his fucking like ankle and shit like in the mid match, and was like shoving him. So he was trying to indicate like, yo, bro, ring the fucking bell, disqualify me and shit. And the ref had no fucking idea. So they started legitimately shoving each other. So it was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, just back and forth. And fucking Neville's like on the ground, like, hey, I'm the one that's hurt, guys. Hi, on the ground. And they're just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, dude, like they're great performers, and like again, Chris Jericho, this comes to show as one of the greatest guys to work with. Like he's a safe fucking dude.
Yeah.
Make sure like he said, it sucks when any of your guys can get hurt at any moment. And again,
but the thing is, AEW has such a stacked roster that even if one of their main guys
there's always a replacement
out with an injury,
there's always a plan B and a plan C, and sometimes a D.
And it's good because it gives a lot of these guys time off. Because yes, AEW is only once a week. You know what I mean? But Tony Khan allows them to do indie shows. They're always wrestling. Even when they're not in AEW, they're wrestling on fucking weekends and shit, and doing other promotions.
Do you know
things.
what
Anything
is?
can
Do
happen
you know
at
what's
any
so
time.
unfortunate about AEW, and this also coincides with the death, and another great promo executioner was definitely Brody Lee. Like we definitely saw the greatest that he could do in AEW, and it got cut.
Rest in peace,
and
Brody
it got
Lee.
cut short because I rewatched his fucking dog collar match, like, and it was fucking, it was great. It was great, and I just, we really got robbed of somebody that had so much to prove, and he, in such little time that he was there, dude. Like he was fucking great, and his promo work was excellent. Even his in-ring shit was excellent. Like
he wasn't able to speak or be himself,
which is unfortunate because that's another fucking like example of WWE fucking on their talent. Like they just fuck it up. Like it's so unfortunate because AEW had a star out of Brody Lee, and it's unfortunate, man. Like we all,
I'm just glad he was able to showcase. I'm just glad he was able to showcase.
And he died a champion basically, other than losing it short. Like didn't he lose his title just recently to Cody Rhodes before he passed away? It wasn't that the dog collar match. Like he had to sell his injury, so they wrote him off TV, and that's when his medical shit like happened. Okay,
yeah. Did you see the Brody Lee tribute show, or at least like the ending segment, dude? Like literally,
wasn't Eric Rowan there?
Nearly cried. They had Eric Rowan was there. They had Brody Lee's wife.
Brody Lee's son has a contract with them when he turns 18.
They retired the belt that Brody had, and they gave it
TNT
to
championship, right?
his 8-year-old son. Like, yeah, they retired that version of it. They have another one, but dude, that's like that. It's on YouTube, man. It's like probably like
100%,
minutes
dude.
long.
And
watch it.
I dig that even WWE wrestlers were still able to pay tribute to him too. Like in their matches, they were able to like do like one of my favorite things. Like one of my favorite Brody Lee moves was definitely his clothesline, the spin, and then the bah. Like a lot of wrestlers used it that following night when they started wrestling. Like whether it was Raw or SmackDown, I saw a lot of wrestlers using his moves. And I love when wrestlers do that, and I love when companies can, push those things aside, and show in terms of respect for regardless, how the bridges were or weren't burnt, and that's like, again, one of those moments where, the wrestling community can come together. And I just thought I'd mention that because we were on the subject of AEW and their product, and I feel like we really got robbed out of a great talent.
I do want to carry on a little bit.
Absolutely.
Right? There's gonna be a new segment on the podcast, man. Whenever we're talking about wrestling, I do it on another show when I guest star, which, at the end of the podcast, I'll let you know what that is. Fantasy booking, man. Picking out free agents in the professional wrestling business. Who would you like them? Where would you like to see them go? Who would you like to see them feud with, have match with, whatever? This is your fantasy. Okay. What you would like to see?
Is it free agents in real life, or like free agent if they were free agents? Because I can do if. I don't know who like the long list of free agents are in the wrestling community, other than like the main.
I'll let you do if. Okay. But I want to go first because I do want to mention this. I've mentioned this quite a bit. as you know, Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt,
Yes,
he's a free agent.
absolutely.
He's, everybody says he's going to go to AEW, and I do think,
Eventually, he
that's the
will. I think
plan at
he
some
will.
point.
That or a shocking return to WWE, but there's got to be a lot of money involved.
I don't think that he had some backstage heat, and that's why he got fired or whatever. But I've always said the Dark Order sort of like they're still around, they're still a stable, but they sort of lost that star
With
power
when Brody
and
Lee
that
died.
likability once Brody Lee passed away.
Gotcha.
I would love for Bray Wyatt or Wyndham Rotunda, whatever you want to call him, to debut in AEW and be the new leader of the Dark Order as sort of like a tribute to Brody Lee, because you know how close they were in real life.
Absolutely.
I would like to see that happen, man. I mean,
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Now, in terms of wrestlers who I would love to see like go at it, if they were, and now I'm gonna put everybody on the table as free agents, like
okay.
100%. I'm gonna put everybody on the table as a free agent. I would love to see some matches between the Young Bucks and the Usos. Like I would love to
Oh,
see the Young Bucks and the Usos go at it. I think that I
oh,
feel like that would be a
definitely.
great fantasy match. I think that would be fantastic. They're obviously both very established tag teams.
Yep.
Fucking the Usos are a lineage tag team. So it's like, I would love to see, the Young Bucks, fucking whole fucking, just their, accolades, this legendary tag team go against a legacy tag team. Like I would love to see
Yeah.
that. I feel like that would be a moneymaker. That would be fucking great. I would love to see that as a WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
I feel like WrestleMania should be a 2-day event where a lot of promotions come together. If I'm being completely honest, I would love to see WrestleMania just be a wrestling promotion. Like I would love for that once a
Yeah.
year to have various promotions come together, have stars from other companies going back and forth feuding on those fucking brands and then build to matches at WrestleMania. Like
That would be
I would
phenomenal,
love
dude.
WrestleMania, and on the record, I would love WrestleMania to be a whole Forbidden Door event. I would love WrestleMania to be just that for the wrestling community. I feel like that should be the one time of the year where everybody comes together no matter what the fucking competition is. I feel like that would be a huge money pull for everybody involved. And the viewership would
I
be
never thought
through the
about that.
fucking roof.
I never thought about that, but dude, like, I do think everybody deserves at least one WrestleMania moment in their life, man. I think
I'm onto something, bro. I'm onto something.
I th- I think you win with your fantasy booking, man. That's
Yeah, I
fucking
think it should
amazing.
be a 100% Forbidden Door event. 100% because it's once a year and you have time in every single promotion including New Japan to build some fucking serious feuds. Like I feel like that would be amazing. Like for example, two superstars that I would love to see go at it would be John Morrison and Kenny Omega. Like I would
Oh my
love
god.
to, but I would want him to be fucking John Hennigan, like his actual name. Like I would want
Well,
John
guess who?
Hennigan and Kenny Omega going
He
at it.
is a he is a free agent, and he could possibly be going to
I would
AEW.
love to see John Hennigan go against fucking Kenny Omega. That would be an amazing fucking match, like amazing match. Fucking there's no
Everybody
denying
thought
it.
Remember, for the longest time, everybody speculated that Charlotte Flair was going to be going to AEW because her boyfriend Andrade is there, and I guess Ric Flair was going to be going there to do something at some point, but that ended up getting scrapped. Everybody thought that her contract was going to run up and she was going to go to
Yeah,
AEW.
no, I didn't believe that for a second, just because of that's Vince's. That's another one of Vince's golden children rather.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was great fantasy booking, man. We're gonna have to do it again on the next
Yeah,
podcast.
I think, like I said, I think again to end it, WrestleMania should 100% be a Forbidden Door event. Unpopular
Yeah.
opinion. I think it should be, and I think it would be amazing.
Sadly, I
2 days, amazing.
sadly, it would be able to happen if Vince McMahon wasn't in charge, but
If
you
it was
know.
Triple H, it'd be fucking all over. It'd be done. It'd be a signed deal fucking yesterday.
Dude, I hope Triple H takes over WWE at some point. I mean,
At this point, I'm expecting to see his release soon. If I'm being
do you
complete,
think do you think he would ever make the jump, or do you think
I
that's
don't
too
know,
close?
but I know for a fact that he'll never wrestle again, especially after this.
Probably
Especially
not.
after this
But
heart attack.
I can't see Triple H not being involved in some aspect of wrestling. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
I could see him being like brought back in a manager position. I could see him being brought on as a producer, as a leader of a leader of sorts in someone's company. 100%.
There's a there was a TikTok video that was circulating a couple months ago. Vince McMahon, Stephanie, Triple H, and a few others walking by like the construction site. I guess they're rebuilding the WWE headquarters in Connecticut. And it was a couple months after his heart attack. And Triple H, I mean, he was in the suit. He still looked beefy, and
I haven't
I
seen
mean,
him
he looked
since his
fine to
heart
me.
attack. I haven't seen a picture of anything, but
I'll have to send you that video later.
100%.
But anyway, on to the next topic, man.
Excuse me.
What do you got going on for me?
I want to talk about another superstar that has been able to solidify himself and get himself over with the fans by himself as a free agent currently. He's made a huge name for himself, and WWE is obviously fucking stupid for letting him go because he got himself over without their help, and
Yep.
became something of himself and had a huge following, and he is thriving in the indies right now, and that is Matt fucking Cardona, as formerly known as
Matt
Zack
Cardona,
Ryder.
man.
Like that dude went from Zack Ryder to the fucking deathmatch king, Matt Cardona.
Dude,
That
he
dude
has like
is
6 championships now.
yeah. He just won the NWA World Championship fucking
And it just
3
got
days ago.
announced. It just got announced. Because I'm subscribed to Matt Hardy's YouTube channel. They just did a little promotional video. March 14th in Albany, New York. It's going to be the Hardys versus Matt Cardona and Brian
Fuck
Myers, man. The
yeah.
major, I think they're called the major players now or something
Dude,
like that.
I'm I'm
I'm not
fucking
quite sure.
stoked, bro. Like I'm stoked for it. I think it's gonna be absolutely fantastic. I think again, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan because, dude, Zack Ryder again. I want to give him some spotlight right now, and not even Zack Ryder. I feel ashamed to even say that Matt Cardona has Zack Ryder's dead, fam. Like Matt Cardona is a complete force of nature. That dude is one of the best to do it now. Like this guy has gone to lengths that we have not seen in professional wrestling in some time, and he is killing it for himself on the fucking independent scene and being a
He's
free
the
agent.
he's one of the only toy and comic collectors that I would never fuck with because he like punch. It'd be like that scene in fucking Freddy Goes to Jason Goes in Manhattan, and he fucking punches the dude in the face and his head falls off.
Dude,
That's exactly how it'd be.
Matt Cardona is making a huge fucking name for himself outside of the outside of WWE, and I think
Yeah,
one of
man.
these days, I think it would be a lie from WWE straight up to say that he's not on their radar. I would say it's a lie, 100%, because dude, that dude again is one of the best to do it right now. This dude has so much, like everywhere I go wrestling wise, whether it's news, whether if it's I'm just scrolling on the timeline, there is something going on with Matt Cardona, and it's usually something big. And again, he's got like 6 championships. Dude just won the fucking NWA World Heavyweight Championship from Trevor Murdoch, like 2-3 days ago.
Yep.
Like it's fucking like, dude, the dude is unstoppable. This dude is on fire, and he already had a stint in AEW for a second there. When he got his non-complete clause fucking ended. I think he helped Cody.
Yeah. I think he did.
I think he helped Cody. As a matter of fact, who just left AEW. That sly dog. You know what the fuck is going on with Cody right now, or is it now Cody Rhodes?
I don't know, man.
Because he got his. I think he got his name back. I think he's
The
Cody Rhodes again.
I heard some kind of speculation that he had a falling out and a disagreement with Tony Khan on the direction that AEW was going, and that's why he
Mm-hmm.
decided to leave.
And he's
I
unsatisfied.
think he's
Yep,
a
and he's very
fucking
unhappy.
idiot, man.
Considering that he, he fucking again helped. He's an integral part of fucking building AEW and launching it. So it's definitely a shocker.
He was like an
But obviously with
executive for
AEW,
AEW or something.
yeah, and it's funny because in a world where no non-complete clauses don't exist, AEW, he's literally able to show up wherever. He could show up on fucking SmackDown on
Yeah,
Friday.
he's
And I
gonna
wouldn't
be in
surprised.
WWE and he's gonna be Stardust again, and he's gonna be jobbing to fucking Sami Zayn in a week. I guarantee it.
Actually, from what I was reading in his negotiations, were creative control once he proves himself a little bit.
Once he fucking proves,
And
he's
that
Cody fucking Rhodes.
I know, but they're saying prove himself a little bit back on, the main roster and shit, and they're gonna give him creative control, and he's gonna be solidified as one of their top guys. which I feel like should have happened a long time ago because he thrived in AEW. Thrived. So I think if WWE is smart by bringing him back, they're gonna, read the fine lines.
Yeah.
They're gonna let him ink his deal the way he wants it. So I think that, again, he's proved himself outside the business and everything. So I think him showing up in WWE and being in negotiations, which is big fucking news, is a very good thing for the wrestling business and for WWE and everybody involved.
Yep. I don't know, man.
Again, I think it's
he's Cody Rhodes. He was an executive for AEW. What does he?
he's
I mean,
Dusty Rhodes' fucking son.
he's been in pro wrestling since like 2008, 9 when he came into WWE. Maybe even a little bit before then. What does he have to fucking prove, man? Like, I guarantee you,
where he is now compared to these new talents and
I
competitors.
guarantee.
Like they want to make sure that he can still go with them, which obviously, I think it's a little bit of a stretch, having him prove himself. But at the same time, I get where WWE is coming from in that perspective. In retrospect, like I'm trying to see things from all sides here, and I can kind of see where they're coming from. But at the same time, Homeboy should have some creative control there because he's proved himself outside of the company and started a whole new rivaling company and still jumped ship to come back.
His first night on AEW, he came out with a sledgehammer and broke a Triple H style throne as a fuck you to WWE. He's done a lot of things like
slandering. He was just talking about the whole Gunther name change.
Do you think it is very possible that maybe people are jumping the gun? Maybe, maybe he had a falling out with Tony Khan or whatever, but everybody's speculating that he might go to WWE, but he ends up signing a new deal with AEW, maybe 2-3 months down the line. Because you have to remember, his game show, his reality show, all that's Time Warner. That is, partnered with AEW. What's going to happen
He
to all
also
that?
said, well, you also have to go to his departure statement, dude. He thanked everybody, including him. So I think that's done, bro. I think it's done. I think everything with Cody Rhodes is gone. Like I think that's done now. Like when he jumped ship because even Tony Khan and from AEW made the statement himself, and they're wishing them the best.
Yeah, but
so I think it's done, bro.
I just have a hard
At
time
least for a while.
rationalizing it because so many people have, been like, "Oh, I'm leaving," and then 4 or 5 months down the line, they end up coming up with a new deal.
Man, the way I see it is we got to see all three Spider-Men on the screen doing the same fucking meme. Anything is possible at this point. Anything. We're in 2022. Anything is possible.
With the way WWE gets shit on, with the creative direction that it's going, I have a hard time rationalizing thinking that Cody Rhodes is gonna go back there.
You also got to remember something, and this was actually fairly recent. Somebody else is stirring the pot too. That person is Chris Jericho.
Yeah, he
Kevin Owens changed his profile picture, and he was like, you never know when you're gonna see me again, KO. You never forgot that promise. So I think there's some shit going on, man. Like I said, I'm never saying never at this point. I think anything can happen.
I don't know.
So
man.
I'm gonna keep a very open mind and let myself be surprised, but I have my reservations.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an open mind. If it happens, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing. I just hope they don't give him some jobber gimmick, man. I really don't. That and Cody Rhodes, he's not like a full-time performer. He doesn't, he's not in that stage of his life anymore. They just had a baby.
Again,
he's not gonna want to be traveling every week. You know what I mean?
And like I said, he could be working behind the scenes as a higher up as well.
I don't see that happening.
There's a lot of money in WWE involved, bro. Especially if he's going back, there's going to be shit in his contract.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna hire somebody like Cody Rhodes on with the amount of star power that he has just to keep him out of the spotlight.
I know, but at this point, because knowing what we know now,
which is very
until
little,
it happens.
We're not journalists. We know very little.
And like 100%. And like I said, until it happens, I can't really speculate what's gonna, how it's gonna.
We can guess,
but I'm excited that it is happening. I'm excited that it is 100, like not 100%, even 90%. I'm happy it's happening. Because again, this is going to stir the pot. This is going to be like, how are we going to see what is Cody Rhodes going to bring to his first appearance back? Who is he going to go for? What is he going to say about his last company? What is he going to say as to why he came back?
I feel like
I'm interested for all of those things.
I feel like if he does, let's just say for a minute that 100% he's definitely going to WWE. I think WWE would be idiots if they didn't try and start a feud between him and Roman Reigns.
Absolutely. I agree.
They both
100%.
have massive star power. They both have the
Yeah.
ability, you know.
Any way they handle it, I'm excited because I'm excited more so to see what Cody has to say. And like I'm
Yeah.
curious as to what's going on in Cody Rhodes' mind. Like I'm curious as to what he would say cuz this point, like I had to talk about this on the podcast, and I was so adamant about doing a podcast because I'm so curious. I'm so curious as to what the fuck is happening. This is big fucking news. It's not like it's breaking. So and so is back from injury. It's breaking. So and so is coming back at the elimination chamber. They're like, cool. I'm excited to see them. Whatever. But this is huge. This is a dude that started a rival company.
What do you feel
shit
like
on said company he's coming back to, but is coming back with a huge deal? What the fuck is going on? I'm so intrigued as to what the fuck is happening.
What if Cody Rhodes? This is gonna be like, I guess you can say, fantasy booking. What if Cody Rhodes goes to WWE? He does have that creative control, and he tells Vince like, I want to bring over one or two AEW guys, for like a one-off. Do you think Vince McMahon would allow that to happen?
It depends on what the contract negotiations are. It all comes down to the fine print, and I can't elaborate on that.
I know, but just like I said before, fantasy booking. Like, do you see that? Would you ever see that being a possibility?
If it's greenlit by Vince, yeah. If Vince greenlights Cody Rhodes to come back, and if that's officially in the bag, who knows what Vince will say yes to at this point?
Unless, now here's this too. Unless, because Vince McMahon, you he watches AEW. He's never gonna admit it, but he keeps up to date with the product and what they're doing. So all the shit that AEW has referenced, involving WWE and all this. What if they bring Cody Rhodes back just to job him out and make him look like an idiot, being like, "Oh, look at this AEW guy, this former AEW guy."
I'd be pretty pissed.
I wouldn't put it past Vince McMahon, man. Look at all the shit he's done.
I wouldn't put it past him either.
They want to make AEW look like fools. That's his main goal.
And that's why I'm saying it could go one of two ways. Either Vince could shit on him purposely, or Vince could push him purposely to show what AEW is missing
like
out
teaming
on.
up with, like, fucking putting him as Stardust and then fucking having him chase the 24/7 title.
I don't think that'll ever happen again. I don't think that'll ever happen again. And if Stardust did, for whatever reason, make a return, it'd be in the same fucking capacity that Kofi Kingston's Jamaican fucking persona came back. It'd be in a time machine. Some shit like that. And that was a weird fucking era of fucking, I don't even know what the fuck.
I don't know, man.
Was.
The whole thing scares me.
It is,
because I'm not quite sure.
It is a very scary unknown for sure. Again, it's scary but yet exciting and very intriguing. Like I'm here for it regardless. Like whatever happens, I'm here for it because it's such an interesting time to be a wrestling fan. It's an interesting time to see all of this news flooding out and not knowing what the fuck to think about it, because this is shit you never thought would happen in a million years. So it's hard to process that for really anybody. It's also hard to process that fucking Johnny Knoxville might be getting a fucking IC title shot at WrestleMania. I think that's awesome because that's, again, bringing some stars to the WWE, which is, what WWE has been known for to do, for years. This isn't anything new. I'm just stoked that it's Johnny Knoxville out of anybody.
I mean, I would like it even better if fucking like somebody like Bam Margera was in his corner. I'm a huge fan of Bam.
I am too, but Bam's got some shit,
but,
going on. But then again, since Ryan Dunn passed away, Bam has always had some shit going on.
Well, I mean, do you blame him?
No, 100%. But at the same time, you can do a lot to heal from that. You can do a lot to, get yourself straight.
Everybody goes through losses, man, but people handle 100%.
Absolutely, and that's part of why I think unless Bam was super healthy again, I don't think it would happen. Homeboy's in one Jackass scene, and I think it's for like 45 seconds.
I don't want to say that it's not gonna like. I don't even know how I want to word this.
You don't want to say never say never.
Well, yeah, but as far as like Johnny Knoxville, I don't want to say it's unnecessary. A little bit predictable because Sami Zayn's not going to drop though. Yes, and for those of you that don't know, they pre-taped this week's episode of SmackDown. Sami Zayn beat Shinsuke for the IC title. There, I said it.
And that's because they're going to be in Saudi Arabia, right?
They're
That's for
leaving.
the
They're
elimination.
leaving on Thursday, I believe. Because I mean that's like a 17-hour flight, and they need to
Yeah.
swing off the jet lag and all that. But I'm not upset that Johnny Knoxville is going to be involved in WrestleMania in some way because they've always had celebrity appearances.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have waited until next year because it's going to be in LA, and so it would have made a little bit more sense. But do you think that it's a bad thing because maybe that could have been a reserve spot for somebody else? Somebody else that's on the WWE roster that has worked all year around and they haven't been given that kind of opportunity to have a WrestleMania moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, are you asking me like how I feel about that? Like how I feel like it should be somebody else and not,
I
a
think it.
celebrity?
I think Johnny Knoxville's taking a spot from somebody a little bit more deserving of that. You know what I mean?
The way I would like
Like
resolve that issue, because I
Ricochet,
understand what
and
you're
Sami
saying.
Zayn IC Championship.
That'd be great. That'd be fucking phenomenal. But the way I see them resolving this, if they were to say that Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn are fighting, for the Intercontinental Championship,
Yeah.
at WrestleMania, you could add somebody into that triple threat and have that guy take the fucking title home.
Who would you see that guy being? My pick is just Ricochet. I just think that dude is so fucking talented. Like,
I feel like Ricochet would like high key throw Johnny Knoxville around the fucking ring like a rag doll. In terms of his, acrobatic ability.
yeah.
Um, I think if I were to put an IC title opportunity on somebody in that capacity, fuck. Like it's hard to choose from like the regular pool because
I know.
it's very slim right
Because
now.
it could
And
even, I mean, even if you have the fantasy book, because it could possibly be somebody that makes a return or makes a debut.
Elias, Elias, I could see him being in the angle with Sami Zayn
I feel
and
like
Johnny
Elias
Knoxville.
would be the only one that would bring more prestige to the IC title. You know,
100%. I think Sami Zayn is a fantastic
he's
fucking superstar.
fantastic. I'm just not quite
He's
sure
just
about
his
being a
booking is
champion.
odd. I think his booking is odd, but I think he's got it in
Dude,
ring, and he's also got the mic skills.
he reminds me so much of Kris Kringle from Santa Claus is Coming to Town with the fucking beard, man. I say that every time I see him.
Oh yeah, I think 100%. But I think he's a fantastic performer.
Yeah,
100%. I think that him being IC champion is a very smart move. I think he'll make the championship matter again.
yeah.
Because let's be fucking honest, nobody gives a fuck about Shinsuke Nakamura anymore. Nobody gives a fuck about Rick Boogs. Nobody gives a fuck about the IC title
I
right now
liked Rick
because of
Boogs
how long
before
it
they cut
was.
his hair. Now he just looks like a fucking generic wrestler guy that plays
Now he
fucking
looks like
guitar.
that
And he
roided
has like
up
a fucking
dude.
pedo
Yeah,
stash.
yeah. I'm kind of
Did
upset.
you also hear? Did you also hear what happened on
What
SmackDown?
happened?
Supposedly there was like a contract signing involving Charlotte and Ronda
Yeah,
for WrestleMania, and apparently it was either Ronda or Charlotte. One of them hit each other, like one of
yeah.
them. And apparently there was no selling during the whole thing, so WWE had to go and edit the entire thing over again or something like that. They had to do some kind of editing to it
What?
because there was somebody no sold. I don't. I'm kind of curious to see what's gonna happen on Friday, man. I'm kind of curious, and I heard it from a big publication too. They wrote a whole article. If I can find it later, I'll show you. But
Somebody wasn't.
yeah,
I wonder if it was Charlotte just being a bitch. I wonder.
I think it was Charlotte. I think either Ronda punched her or took her head and smashed it into the table, and she just no sold it like none happened.
I hate fucking wrestling drama sometimes, dude. It's the worst, dude. Like it just it makes you like kind of like, oh shit, is this gonna end in flames, man?
I just felt like I had to mention it because we were talking about
100.
SmackDown a little bit. So
I'm curious as to
I'm kind of
who
curious.
is going to be facing Becky Lynch at Mania. I hope to fucking Christ it's not fucking Doudrop. Like, I fucking hope to Christ it's not Doudrop. Like, I'm hoping if anybody is Liv Morgan, like, I can understand Bianca Belair because whatever, but
Liv Morgan, they buried her. She got demolished last night.
That. Oh, come on.
By Rhea Ripley. And then Rhea Ripley got demolished, and then Bianca Belair came to the
fucking rescue. Oh, they're having everybody in the Elimination Chamber at an angle. Got you.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was supposed to be a spot reserved for whoever won that gauntlet match, but they just ended up giving it to Alexa Bliss, who wasn't even in the match in the first place.
Like I said,
Alexa Bliss is going to be in the Elimination Chamber, but she's back to her goddess gimmick. She's not as, like, how it was.
Because she went to therapy or something like that.
She's back to her old self. Apparently, 2 weeks of therapy can change a person.
Okay. It might be a ploy, though. Hey, it might be a ploy. They're bringing her back to her old self for a second, and then she's going to tweak at the Elimination Chamber and fucking be like, oh, it's me and Becky at fucking Wrestlemania. I'm like, oh, this is where I stopped watching. Click. I'm just so over the same people fucking getting opportunities. Like, dude, give it to fucking Liv Morgan. Or even give it back to Rhea Ripley. Like, one of them. I'm sick of fucking Bianca Belair shit. Like, I'm sick of that already. Like, I think she's fucking incredible. But put her in a fucking angle with fucking Ronda Rousey. Put her in an angle with her. Then I will fucking tune in. But right now, put an underdog in there. Give me fucking Liv Morgan.
I do kind of like what they're doing because Charlotte Flair, man, she mentioned Ronda Rousey's kid on SmackDown in a promo, and that's something you don't do, man. You don't
especially
mention
Ronda
kids.
Rousey's. Holy fuck.
And Ronda, they ended up pushing each other, and Sonya Deville got involved, and Sonya Deville almost got her arm broken.
Yeah.
That's why she's in a fucking cast.
So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that no selling was personal.
Possibly.
Because who knows what if Charlotte decided to ad-lib the comment about said child. Because then that would piss anybody off. Like, I get you got to, say some things to make people, legitimately fuming to sell. But there's some things that are too.
She didn't say anything like negative. She just mentioned Ronda's kid in the third person. But I mean, even so, I mean, I guess as a parent, you
don't bring kids up at all. Like, there's just there's a fucking line. You don't bring kids.
Ja Rule mentioned Eminem's kid, and look where he at. Last I knew, he was doing fucking taco commercials in fucking New Mexico.
It looks like Ja Rule is a fucking, oh my god.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what
I don't know either, man.
Right? Are you gonna watch the Elimination Chamber?
Absolutely, man. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, of course. I'll be streaming if you want to fucking talk in the stream.
Yeah, it's a possibility for sure because I get out of work at 7. It's at noon.
Noontime. They're in the.
I'm not gonna be watching
Elimination Chamber, man. They're at Saudi Arabia.
I'm not gonna be watching it.
Oh, you're not?
Yep, I won't be able to watch it then because I'll be at work. I clock in at 11:30.
Damn. I mean, you could always have fucking headphones in and fucking watch it that way, but
I'll have to find a way to sign into our Peacock account in order to watch it because I'm not missing that for the fucking world. If anything, I'll just fucking make a Peacock account and fucking watch it. The good thing is,
even if you can't, I mean, it's always on demand or whatever. I would stay away from social media and me.
You can't tell me to do that on the deadest day of my week.
Yeah,
that's how I get through the workday, dude. I'm there for fucking 8 hours. Well, it's gonna be like a
4-hour event, I think. They're usually pretty long events, so it starts at noontime.
All right, so I'm actually gonna pull up the elimination match card, and we're gonna make to close out the podcast. We're gonna make our predictions. Man.
Prediction time.
All right, so let me pull up the elimination match card.
I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. If you guys look above my head, which go to our social medias, TSPR podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Follow us. We do very regularly post clips of the podcast on there. So if you guys, miss anything, you guys can always check out the Instagram accounts and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right, so I have the matches. All right, so we're going to start with the smaller matches and build up. Sounds good,
man.
Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. Who do you think got it? Miz.
I think Rey, actually. because
Okay.
the
All right.
Mysterios have been
So
feuding, and I mean, Rey Mysterio, Miz kind of punked out Dominic the other week. So I don't know.
I believe
I
it.
think Rey.
All right, I'm gonna say Miz just because they have this habit of Miz just other than like bigger matches, he's just fucking dominates, and they just keep they just
Yep.
keep him going. But interesting that you would say that. Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss.
Drew McIntyre.
I am gonna say Drew
Unless Happy
McIntyre as
Corbin gets
well.
involved.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna
It's no
respectfully.
DQ, isn't it? I know there's a match that's going to be happening. It's no DQ or something like that. It's like a hardcore match or something.
Now that would be interesting because if it is a hardcore match and if it's no DQ, if Drew McIntyre ends up having a handicap moment, I think that would be a perfect time to get Cody Rhodes to drop in. I
Maybe.
think that would be a great like opportunity to dip Cody Rhodes back in is by some Calvary from said
Yep.
Cody Rhodes. I think that would be fucking amazing, for at least for that building up to a tag
Yep.
team match. So I'm gonna say Drew McIntyre as well, but I think there's gonna be some interesting things there to play. Naomi and Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. I'm gonna go with Naomi and
Yeah, me
Ronda.
too. I can't stand Charlotte, and I definitely don't like
Uh,
Sonya.
Same. Usos versus Viking Raiders. I'm gonna say fucking Usos because
I want
they're gonna save that
to say
loss
the
for a
Viking
while.
Raiders, but I know they're not going to win. So the Usos.
I wish it was the Raiders.
Dude, that match
100%.
that I
I
showed
wish it
you
was the
on
Raiders.
NXT Takeover, it was the Viking Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. Dude, that match was
Shit was incredible.
incredible.
Everybody was flying around, dude. Um, Becky Lynch versus Lita. I want to say Lita, but I know it's not gonna. It's gonna be Becky.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
already
be
know
Becky.
it, so I'm gonna say Becky.
But do you see how predictable WWE is?
Yes, this is like Roman Reigns versus Goldberg.
Roman.
Roman Reigns, easy. Elimination match to determine the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania 38. Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Nikki Ash, or Rhea Ripley. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go
I'm
out
gonna
on
go
a
with Alexa
fucking limb,
Bliss.
and I'm gonna push Liv Morgan. I don't care. I'm pushing.
I'm
I'm
gonna
pushing
go with
Liv because
Alexa.
she would not have these opportunities unless they had something planned for her. Notice after her last Elimination Chamber match, she showcased and got pushed during that match. And notice that shortly after, she started really shining in singles competition and has built up till now. So if anything, because of knowing that history, I'm going to put my eggs on fucking
But
Liv
it
Morgan.
just seems like she's been getting buried. I mean, there would have been if she was really gonna win on Saturday. Well, don't you think they would have had her win last night and look really, really powerful going into the event?
I think that, again, they're going to go an underdog route. Like I said, I'm, again,
I'm gonna
firm
go
Liv
with
Morgan.
Alexa Bliss just because that seems like they're fucking like golden goose outside of Becky and
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Unfortunately. All right, so last one: Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles versus Austin Theory versus Brock Lesnar versus Matt Riddle
Brock
versus Seth
Lesnar.
Rollins.
Because I think they want the match between him and Roman to be title versus title at Mania. So I have to go with Lesnar.
Which I think.
I know you said you wanted Riddle to win, and there was some speculation.
I want.
There's always that possibility, though. There really is. So,
like I said, I want
this
Riddle to win, especially since he was supposed to fucking win the Rumble.
This
I
is all
want him
about
to
who
win.
you want to win. So, who do you want to win?
I want Matt Riddle to win, and I'm going to tell you how I want it in the capacity and who I want him facing at Mania. I could see
Riddle being champion. He's a fucking tough competitor. He looks like a jackass.
All right, so don't interrupt me. I'm about to give you the whole spiel. This is how I'm ending the podcast. I'm going to give you my whole Riddle title reign story, and I'm going to give you his WrestleMania moment. Picture this: Riddle wins the fucking WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. That following Monday on Raw, he celebrates with RK Bro. Randy Orton oddly starts dropping seeds that he's looking at that title more than he's looking at Riddle. Okay, wait for it. We're stewing. We're simmering now. Weeks go by, cracks start coming through. You see Randy like dropping hints that he's going to turn on Riddle clearly, whether he's getting way more disrespectful, whether he's not tagging himself in, just kind of straight up walks out on him. And obviously, you know, Riddle is having the bro moment, so he's just very forgiving and he starts to write it off. But during that, towards the end of it, I want fucking Randy Orton to RKO this motherfucker. Like, I want this dude to turn on him in the worst way and beat the hell out of him night in and night out, to where you start to see Riddles follow, like, literally start to break and start to crack. Eventually, I want Riddle to fucking beyond lash out and go UFC fucking, like, MMA fighting style again. And I want him to break the bro gimmick entirely, give him a complete revamp, and have him be a serious character and fucking take out the legend killer at fucking WrestleMania and put him the fuck over as a serious top guy competitor. Repackage him going into WrestleMania, but do it right.
You know what that kind of reminds me of?
What?
It's gonna be ironic when I
What's
say
up?
this, man. Remember when back in 2003,
Okay.
the Elimination Chamber. Remember, Randy Orton won the World Heavyweight Championship, and Evolution
Turned
Triple
on him.
H.
That's what I'm saying. I could see it fucking going down, and like I could see it going down, and like I think it would be a mirror effect in a way, because
Yep.
Randy Orton is basically like training him now. Like Randy Orton is basically like helping train Matt Riddle. That's like his trip. Randy Orton is currently in the shoes that Triple H was in with fucking Randy Orton. And I
Yep.
think it's a weird mirror effect because Riddle is very much so like Randy Orton in a lot of fighting style now. I think it's going to be a huge passing of the torch moment. I think we're going to get that moment eventually, but if they were to do this, give the title to Riddle. You could flesh out a fucking main event headline with an underdog story, putting over somebody who started out so stupidly in this company and turn him into one of the biggest top guys you have, because he's crazy on the fucking mic too. Imagine him serious.
Dude, they had him dressed
Like,
up in a fucking
quote me.
toga last night, having a toga party.
Like I said, fucking quote me. Tell me that shit doesn't sound fucking awesome.
It sounds really good. I definitely do gotta add that the day this podcast gets released will be Saturday at noon, right as the Elimination Chamber is starting. So
Absolutely.
everybody that watches this podcast, man, you guys are gonna have to let us know how we did on our predictions.
Man, I wouldn't do that. I would release this podcast the day before.
The day before, so
I would
Friday.
I would do Friday just to give them time to watch this podcast and have an open mind as to who our picks were and see how we did the next day on Saturday. Being like, all right, we can come back and be like, all right, so we can compare and contrast how spot on we were in the next podcast. We can compare and contrast that. We can and we can even record maybe Sunday night or some shit.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're down, I would definitely come on here like maybe like Saturday night or Sunday afternoon or something, and we can like review the show and talk about it and what we.
I can't do Saturday night because I'll have Rey. But who knows? I'm off on Sunday, so I can maybe do like a later night if you're up later. But
I'm down, man.
100%. But I think we definitely covered everything that we wanted to cover and more. This was definitely another solid. Oh, you got another one?
There's something else, man.
What you got,
and
man?
It was actually one of your topics.
Oh, talk about Jay White. Yeah, from New Japan. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Giving you guys a little extra, man.
Little encore with that fucking performance. All right, I see.
We finish hard, man.
Hell fucking yeah. Hard shit. But yeah, I'll let you take this one away because you have a little bit more background knowledge of Jay White than I do. All I know is that he's fucking ruthless.
So Jay White, he's a pro wrestler, obviously, for New Japan. He came through the Forbidden Door the same night Keith Lee debuted in AEW. And he's going to be wrestling. He actually wrestled this past Saturday, I think, in New York. I don't know. For House of Glory Pro Wrestling in Queens, New York.
Oh, okay.
I don't know much about Jay White. So about like his in-ring style, whatever. I don't know anything. It is kind of interesting. He did say in an interview that he could definitely see himself, maybe doing AEW on Wednesday and then possibly going to do like WWE SmackDown that Friday and sort of like kind of having like a Forbidden Door situation. I don't think that's ever gonna happen because of the
I
way
don't
Vince
know,
McMahon
man.
likes to.
I don't know, man. They brought Mickie James back, and they gave her not only the Impact title, but they gave her fucking Hardcore Country fucking theme song from Impact. So I think if they were to do it, I think they would 100%.
Did you hear all the things that they weren't allowed to say though? They couldn't say knockout and they couldn't say World Wrestling Championship or something like that. All it said was Impact.
Which I'm honestly like, I get that, but I'm still acknowledging it because they did mention the company and they did like give her everything that she is from Impact. Like
Yep.
they let her come out as the Impact Knockouts Women's Championship.
And here's
Champion
what
rather.
here's another reason why I don't think I don't ever see it. Jay White's name is Switchblade. I don't see him watering down his style and who he is for a one-off in WWE.
I'm never saying never in any of these situations, man. I'm never saying never.
I don't
Especially, who knows? Like I said, excuse me. It's an amazing time to be alive and to be a pro wrestling fan. So
absolutely,
I'm really, excited about everything. This is huge fucking news. I'm really excited. I'm actually going to refresh Cody Rhodes' status real quick.
Yeah, refresh it one more time before we get out of here, man. I do want to let you guys know that this coming Friday, man, we're recording it on Thursday, but this Friday we are going to be guest starring or guest hosting, I guess, on this pro wrestling talk show for We Are Wrestling. Our buddy Donnie is having us over. So me and Ben are actually going to be in the same room in almost 2 years. So it's going to be very magical. I'm sure I'll be spreading the link out when that does go live, but it will be up this Friday. So you guys can catch more of Two Sticks and Pure Rage in another setting, man. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. I'm seeing some interesting things about Cody Rhodes right now.
What's up, man?
There is 90s WWE. Okay. I'm not sure. It says Jenny. No, this is just people like rooting. It says WWE should make Cody Rhodes WWE graphic to get and petty with AEW. I am not seeing any real updates. I have no idea, man. I have no fucking idea.
But like I told you at the beginning of the podcast, if it happens tonight, if it happens on Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, that day that news starts to break, that's the day I will be posting this podcast. So you guys can see this podcast on Friday, or you can possibly see it sooner whenever that news does break. But who knows what's going to happen?
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for sticking around for another episode of the Two Sticks of Pure Rage Revival fucking podcast, episode number 5. It was absolutely fantastic. We covered a lot of wrestling news today, so it was basically a wrestling news podcast today, which is always a good time for it because, like I said, it's a wonderful time to be alive, to be a pro wrestling fan right now. Everything is coming out. Returns are happening. Doors are being opened. The magic is real. So with that being said, man, I'll let you have the closing remarks, Danny boy.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Just like Ben just said, man, you guys are going to be getting a lot of wrestling content from us just because we are in Wrestlemania season. And now's the time that everybody's talking about it. And there's so much going on. So expect a lot more from us. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We will see you guys in the next episode. Be sure to follow us all on all of our social medias. Links are in the description. The TSP social media handles are above me. So you guys see it right there. It's like pointing to Jesus. See you guys in the next podcast, man.
Peace!